Welcome back to another playthrough series. Yes, it's the middle of summer. Yes, I said I wasn't going to do one, and so I guess I lied. But anyway, here we are, and I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game, and it is brutal to win. And I'm going to be playing the solitaire version basically for space limitations, because the more players you play in the game, the more Space Marines show up on the play surface, and it can get to be a very sprawling, big game to try and film. So I will just be doing a solitaire version, which is going to go over all the rules pretty much anyway. And so I've laid out all the components here. I do have the one expansion, which adds a couple more Space Marines. And so I guess I'm just going to kind of zoom in on some specific items, explain what they are, and then I will do the setup. And then next time we'll be getting into the game. Alright, so I'm just zooming in a little bit on some of the components here. So I'll do brief sort of explanation. Here we have a deck of, these are all locations, and these get set up on the play surface. So we have like spore chimney, ventilation ducts. We have a bunch of different locations, and they have different color codes on them: red, green, orange, and yellow. And they come into effect when we spawn gene stealers. And gene stealers are the aliens of the game, and there's a huge deck of those. And they are basically some pretty cool art on them. And they have a little symbol depending on which type of gene stealer they are. And that has to do with their movement in the game, and we'll see that in action as we play. We also have a 30 card deck of events. These are things that happen at the basically the end of each game round. Something's going to happen. So you have like cleansing flame. There's just, you know, all different things, and they have symbols, and I'll explain all that, of course, as we play, how that works. We have a couple of, I call them boss monsters, I guess, at the end that get added into the final room when it shows up. And then we have a deck of cards here, which, so we're going to be playing the setup for one player. We're going to be using 6 Space Marines. And so we're going to use just one location 2, 1, 3, and 1, 4, as well as the Void Lock, which is your opening location. And a major spawn is 2 Gene Stealers, and a minor spawn is 1. And that will make sense, again, as we play. And so there are different Void Lock cards depending on the setup for different numbers of players. And you can play anything from 1 player to 6 in this game. So we're going to be using this one to start with. And then you have locations like 1A with 3 different ones, 1B, 3 different ones, 1C. But for the solitaire version, we're not going to be using those locations at all. We're just going to be using a randomly chosen location 2, a randomly chosen location 3, and a random location 4. And that's what we're going to do. So I'll just do that right now. Let's see, we're going to pick this 2, pick that 3, and we'll go ahead and pick that 4. And so all the rest of these then, so we're just going to have the 1 Void Lock card. All the rest of these go back in the box, and they're not used in the solitaire game. So to quickly set up, our first location is the Void Lock. Then we're going to move on to a location 2, finally a location 3, and finally will be location 4, which we need to defeat whatever the objective is on the location 4 to win the game. Before, of course, we have all of our Space Marines killed. So that's kind of the setup there. And so now, yes, we have the die that's provided with the game. It has numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on it, and I'll explain how that works when we're rolling. Basically, when a Space Marine attacks a Gene Stealer, if he rolls a skull, he hits it. But there are special abilities for the different Space Marines, and so those are located on card abilities. And so let's go over now to the Space Marine area. We're going to pick 3 different groups of Space Marines. The Space Marines come in groups of 2. Alright, so here I have the 8 different groups of Space Marines set up, and I'm not a huge Warhammer 40k person by any stretch of the imagination, so I really don't have any good knowledge about which faction is what, or what have you. So I'm playing the game strictly from a not knowing much or anything much about 40K. So what we're going to do, this came with the expansion pack, the Marine expansion pack, and it's just a deck of cards, 8 of them, representing the 8 different factions. And so we're going to pick 3 for this playthrough. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, the rest, of course, go away. We don't need them. So let's see which 3 groups of Space Marines we are going to be playing with. So we're going to be playing with this group, and if we look here, it's going to be this one. So I'll just put a token on there so I remember. It's group 1. Second one is the one with the sword, and they probably all have very specific names. I apologize, I don't know them. And then we have the hammer one, which is right here. All right, so those are going to be the 3 groups of Space Marines that are going to take on the Space Hulk. And then, of course, the rest we are not playing with. And so they go away. We're not going to use them. All right, I'm going to set these up. They have 2 Space Marines each and 3 cards for using actions. So I'm going to lay that out and we're going to take a quick look at those. All right, so what I've done here is there are 2 Space Marines for each faction, and each faction has 3 cards. One of them is a support card, one is a move and activate, and the other one is attack. And I will explain how the cards are used, of course, as we play the game. And I'm not going to zoom in on individual cards right now. I'm not sure if you can read them. It might be a little too far away. But how, generally speaking, the cards work is each faction must choose 1 card during the round, and that is the actions that the Space Marines can take. Now, the Space Marines also have, they're double-sided, the actual Space Marines themselves, so they can either face to the right or face to the left. And that plays an important part in the lineup of the setup of the game, which I think I am going to transition into right now. So we basically take the 6 Space Marines and we shuffle them up without looking at them. And of course I'm looking at them, but I will shuffle them offline without looking at them, maybe behind my back. And then we're just going to lay them out 6 cards in a row. And so let's go right into the layout of the main game and get it set up. All right, this is going to be kind of a far shot away. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Void Lock with the 2, 3, and 4 card, and I'm going to set that up here because that's going to be the entry point for our Space Marines, and I don't know if this is focusing or not. I'm going to take the big Gene Stealer pack of cards. They are all shuffled up, and I'm just going to put them above that, and I am going to take the event deck, which again is all shuffled, and just set it off kind of to the side here, where it will be used for drawing events. Our 2 boss monsters stay out of the gene pool for now. They're going to come in later, and of course we have our pack of locations, which we will set up momentarily, and the die is just going to be used when we need to roll up the die. So Gene Stealers are up above where you can't see them. And now the first thing we need to do on setup is we need to, like I said, shuffle the Space Marines, which I'm doing behind my back, and then they're all shuffled, and I'm just going to lay them out. So the first 3 are going to face to the left. So the first one we have is Sergeant Lorenzo. Then we have Brother Scipio. Oh, okay. Then we have a name I can't pronounce, Lacanium Calastrius. And now the next 3 face to the right. So we're going to face to the right with Brother Dino. Then we have Chaplain Raziel. And lastly, facing to the right. And of course, hard to get everything in. That's why I'm just doing the solo with 6 characters. Facing to the right is Brother Metrian. All right. Continuing with the setup, we have to look at this card, and you can see on the left-hand side there's a couple of sort of symbols. On the right-hand side there's a couple of symbols, and then we have 6 and 6. So we're going to set up what are called blip piles, and that's how many aliens are going to be on the left side and on the right side of our setup. So we take our deck, and we have 6 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards going to be on the left blip pile, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aliens on the right hand side, and of course the rest, the bulk, just go up above. So continuing with setup, if we look at this card once again, we show here 1 from the top down is going to be the door, and then we're going to have 3 down is going to be this symbol. On the right-hand side, we're going to go up from the bottom. You see the little arrows here? So 2 up from the bottom, I think that's the corridor. 3 up from the bottom is going to be the vent. And so you're saying, well, how does that work? Well, let's take a look at our cards. So looking first up, we have the door. And the door is a yellow card, and activating it says place 1 support token on this card. When traveling, the current player may first slay a Gene Slayer in the formation for each token on this card. So this is going to be 1 down from the top. So the location here is across from Sergeant Lorenzo. 3 down, we have to find the Dark Corridor, and we see the matching symbol here. So the Dark Corridor is nothing, no special text. It's going to be 3 down. So we go 1, 2, 3. Dark Corridor is across from Lexicanum. On the right-hand side, 2 up is going to be the corridor. Again, looking at the symbol. 2 up from the bottom is the corridor. So 1, 2, our corridor is here. And 3 up, we have the vent. And here's the ventilation duct. And you can see it's red. So the ventilation duct is going to be 3 up. So 1, 2, 3, it is up here. All right, now we have put down our locations. Of course, the other locations not being used, just go away for now. Now we have to populate Gene Stealers, our enemies, onto the board. And how we do that is we take the first event card off the top of the deck and we ignore everything except placing Gene Stealers. We're just going to place Gene Stealers. Oh, good, because Gun Jam is an awful card to have. However, we just ignore all the rest of it. We are just looking down here and we ignore the movement symbol as well. So we're going to place 2 Gene Stealers, because remember the Void Lock, a major spawn is 2, a minor spawn is 1. So on yellow, we get 2 Gene Stealers. On red, we get 1. And so let's go ahead and do that. So yellow is right here, the door. We're going to get 2 Gene Stealers. So we take it from the blip pile on the left-hand side and flip them over. And we get these 2 Gene Stealers are showing up across from the door. And on the red, which is the ventilation shaft, we get 1. So we're going to take it from this blip pile on the right-hand side, and we get 1 Gene Stealer across from the ventilation duct. All right, that concludes basically the introduction and the setup. The gist of the game is the Space Marines, of course, have to stay alive long enough to get to the 4th location in our location deck and defeat whatever objective is on there. Of course, if all of our Space Marines die before that happens, well, obviously we lose the game. Ooh, all right, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time when we're going to start going into the game itself. And lastly here, I will just show you the back of the manual, which gives you a nice quick reference of how the game operates. And it operates in game rounds. So the first thing we do is choose actions, and we'll be doing that starting round 1. We resolve the actions on the cards, and then the Gene Stealers will attack. And then we have an event phase, which means we draw an event card. Now, steps of travel. Whenever one of these blip piles is empty, immediately when it becomes empty, we do a travel steps of travel. And we'll get to that when it happens. Not happening now, of course, because we have still 4 Gene Stealers here, and we have 5 still in that pile. Whew, all right, so yes, like I said, very difficult game to beat. It is beatable, though, but it's nasty. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time for the opening round of Death Angel, or Space Hulk Death Angel, the card game. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.